into another episode of Aggies Excel. We're excited today. We have another amazing Aggie. She's going to teach y'all something today. So we have with us Tabatha Williams. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. That's a lot of pressure.
Hey, no pressure, no pressure. You're doing it. It's just letting everybody know what you're doing. That's all. But thank you for joining us. Now, Tabatha, of course, Tabatha has a long list of accomplishments. I'm not going to get, into an extremely long bio. But of course, Tabatha, well, some of you all know, some of you may know, may not know, but she graduated from the illustrious North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University with a degree in biology. She's going to share her story this episode about her moving to South Korea. And then this was back in 2013 and how it played a major important role in her actually starting the business Hall Pass. So we're going to understand how that tied into the whole birth of Hall Pass. So we're gonna get started. Now, I want people to get to know you. I want people to get to know your business. I want people to understand and be inspired by everything that you've done. Now, let's start off and let's talk about because I'm really interested in the move to Korea and I'm very interested in different cultures, whether it's ours, other people's. That whole move to Korea, a lot of times when people move to other countries, it can be a huge culture shock, both, good and bad. But tell us how that move from the beginning impacted you.
So, yes, it's 2013. I graduated in 2011. At the time, I was still studying for the MCATs, and I was gonna study for the MCATs, take the exam, and then apply to medical school. And so, that took a little while. I kept putting it on hold, and I started realizing that maybe that's not my passion, and committing to medical school, that would have been a few more years of school that I didn't know if I was really ready for. So,
Right.
yeah, Korea, it was an opportunity that came up. Someone from A&T had presented the idea to me. So I was like, you know what? I had like a lot of family stuff going on. I didn't have a job that I was tied to. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to make the move. So I ended up moving there to teach English at a private school. And from that, I was active with my sorority, Delta Sigma Theta. They have a chapter out there in Korea. So they was active on the military bases. They would do different HBCU fairs and college fairs to teach the students out there about Korea. And so yeah, I was doing these fairs, making merch for these fairs to wear for myself. And from there, that's when I started my hobby. But as far as the culture, I pretty much adjusted really quick. I love their food. I have I went out the country a few times, so it was nothing I was scared to do. In undergrad, I studied abroad in Costa Rica for 6 months. So this is my second time living in another country, so it really wasn't much of a shock. And then having my sorors there, they were able to help me adjust more quickly. And originally I was supposed to stay for 1 year, ended up staying for 2.
Okay, great. That's interesting. Even everything you said is interesting because a lot of people, when we think of other countries, we think that we will, sometimes be the only one there, the only one, only minority there, the only one from HBCU there. But it's interesting that you were able to connect with other people from HBCUs, other people, from the culture, from America. That's a very interesting thing, and I'm sure that helped you adjust a little bit, didn't it?
Yes, no, for sure. Because like I said, at the time I was teaching, the first school I started working at was a private Korean school. And I ended up quitting that job after 6 months. And I
Mm,
hadn't really saved up much money. I didn't have nowhere else to go. And in Korea, with your visa, you have to be working or you have to leave. And
right.
so yeah, I had to lean on my sorors out there. They gave me a place to stay for a couple of months. I was sleeping on the couch, and I applied to a few other jobs. And then that's when I moved to another part of Korea, and that's when I started my new contract. So they definitely helped me a lot, because I would have had to go home if I didn't find another job quick enough. And just losing your job in another, well, not losing, leaving your job in another country, that can take a toll on you, because you just don't know what your next move is going to be after you took all of these steps to move to this country. So no, they definitely helped me adjust and made it a very smooth and nice experience out there.
That's huge. That's huge. So, getting into that, and I know a little bit about your story, but I want the people to understand how did the whole experience in Korea help you really birth Hall Pass?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we would do these college fairs on the military base, and we would have to wear shirts to represent our alma mater. So naturally, I can't get anything shipped too quick from the US to wear at these college fairs. So I use some of the local manufacturers nearby to make my own merch. And so I would make my shirts, and then people from back at home would see it and say, "Oh, that's nice. Where'd you get that from?" And I'm like, "Oh, I made it out here." And so they would send me money to just make shirts for them, and I would make the shirts throughout the week. I would get signed on the military base, shipped from the military base on the weekends. And from that, I was getting like a good amount of orders. And I'm like, okay, this might be something. And so
Right.
at the time, Kwame, he owned Spring Break watches. He was selling the licensed Apple phone cases. And so they had the bulldog on it. And so I had hit him up and I'm like, hey, how do you go about getting a license to be able to sell college merch? And so he's the one who told me about getting licensed. So once I moved back, that's when I officially made sure I got my license approved and continued to make clothing. At the time, it was called Trending Topics Boutique. It wasn't called Hall Pass because I wasn't I was gonna sell some antique stuff, but I thought I was gonna pretty much buy wholesale from different trendy brands at the time and
Okay.
then sell it on my site. So started doing that, and in 2019 is when I rebranded and started calling it Hall Pass.
Okay. That's interesting that a lot of businesses are really sometimes birthed out of necessity. Like yours was birthed out of necessity. Like you were just like, okay, you saw a need, you had a need, and you
Hmm.
made it happen. And now it's become this global icon called Hall Pass. So it's exciting to see how that works. Exciting to see how that works. Now, what did you being in another country, being in Korea, what do you think you learned the most? It could be personally or professionally. How did that change you for the better?
For me, it helped me to learn to not necessarily basically trust other people because I'm used to doing everything on my own. I'm used to not usually asking anyone for anything. Even when I moved to Korea, at the time I was going through family issues with our house, and I had to leave. Everything was just like I was under pressure. And so just moving to Korea and then going through some of the things I went through and just having people there that genuinely wanted to help me. No one wanted anything in return. Everyone was doing what just offering whatever they wanted to me without asking for anything back. And for me, that was big because I just wasn't used to that, or I didn't really expect that from people. So I think learning to trust people has helped me a lot. And, it's still helping me with my business, with me having employees and having people work for me and not just doing everything. I can't do every position in my business because you'll get burnt out quick. And I think a lot of us know about that, a lot of entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. That's something I learned quickly. And sometimes I'm still hard-headed because you feel like, well, I know how to do it and I can do it the best and I'm going to do the best job. But you'll learn as an entrepreneur that you have to get help from somebody. You can't do everything yourself, especially as your business continues to scale and continues to grow.
Right.
That's very interesting. And so I like your journey. I'm excited about your journey and where it's taking you and what it was. I know we were talking before, and you were talking about just your experience in Korea. And I asked you about, how did you feel safe? And you were telling me how even in another country in Korea, you felt very safe as a woman alone in that country. What was it about Korea that made you feel so safe?
So I don't know how they do it, but as I mentioned, like the cops there, they don't carry guns. And so that right there speaks volumes. So once I learned that, there's been times where I would drop something on the street and somebody would chase me down just to make sure I got it back. Like they're just super honest. They don't play about like stealing. And this is stuff I learned like being in these schools. So I don't know. It was just I just felt comfortable. It just felt like I belonged there. I didn't feel out of place. Yeah, of course, I was like one of the few Black people that they would see in certain neighborhoods, but the most they would do is just stare, which is natural. But other than that, I didn't feel unsafe. I didn't feel uncomfortable, and I no complaints, no complaints at all, no matter
That-
what time of
That's That's amazing. Especially because I know in the US, it's not too many places you're gonna go where people gonna chase you down and give you your stuff
night.
back.
Right,
And so
exactly.
I want everybody to hear that and understand that because I think sometimes, even in our culture, we can be so afraid to venture out and travel abroad and go to other countries. But you never know what it's really like until you visit there. Like I never understood what other cultures was like outside of the country till I actually went and experienced it for myself. And most of the times it's been drastically different than what I perceived in my mind and how I thought it was and what I
Exactly.
felt like it was going to be. Like I remember being in certain places and I'm like you said, I felt comfortable. I wasn't nervous. No, initially I was like, I don't know how this is going to go. But after being there for a while, I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. This is going to be all right.
Yes.
Now, now let me ask you this. Okay, with you being an Aggie, I ask all Aggies this question because it's very important to the culture of A&T. When you hear the word Jiho, what words do you use to describe Jiho?
Oh, at family reunion and a party. Cookout. It's all three of those. Like A&T, Jiho, it's nothing like it. And I look forward to it every year. I remember when I graduated, I'm like, why do people come back so much? Like every year, I'm like, no, I'm gonna just skip a year or two. Absolutely not. I feel like we go through so much with our jobs and family, and just to know that everyone is gonna find that time to get off to come back just for that weekend and just see your old classmates, see where everyone's how everyone's doing, and just being able to enjoy that time being together. Definitely a nice family reunion.
It is. That's one of the words that I hear so often is family reunion because that's the best way to describe it. It's really like you're going to a huge family reunion slash party slash whatever for the 3 or 4 days that you're there. Like it's an amazing experience. It's a place. I tell people I'm like you have to come. Yeah, I can't explain it to you. They're like, well, I've been to other people's homecomings before. I'm like, nah,
Not
you don't
not the
understand.
same. It's not the
Not, it's
same.
not the same. It's not like the atmosphere. I remember going back after I graduated, and now I'm from North Carolina, so I had experienced GHO before, but it's nothing like it is now. Like now, it's just on a much bigger scale. But I
Hmm.
remember just walking up to people and people just offering me fish plates and you want this and you want something, and I'm like, oh, this really is like a family reunion. I really do feel like cutting Pete. Like I'm,
Right. And being from New York, I'm not used to that. So I was like,
right.
oh, this is amazing. Like this is beautiful.
Absolutely, absolutely. It definitely encapsulates like that Southern hospitality mixed with that family
Absolutely.
atmosphere. It's an amazing time. It's just and it's a time where you feel so comfortable because you're around your peers. You're really around other people that you went to school with, other people that are now professionals and entrepreneurs and doctors and whatever. But for that weekend, we're all just a big family. Like it doesn't matter who you are, where you are, what you're doing in life.
Right.
We're all just you're just one of the people. You're one of the family members. You can be cousin Pete. You could be cousin Teresa if you want to. It's
Right.
it's an amazing time. So I love that. I love that. Now let's talk a little bit more about Hall Pass because Hall Pass, I want you to, I know what Hall Pass is, but I want you to tell the people, if you could describe it in your words, what is Hall Pass?
I would say Hall Pass. I feel like Hall Pass channels the culture of a school. Right now, of course, A&T is like my most popular license that I hold because I went to A&T, so I just know the culture. But I feel like Hall Pass tries to keep up with what's going on currently on campus, and we also try to tap into what was going on like years ago with older alumni. And I feel like we really try to dig into that culture and really figure out what is it that people want to wear, what is it that they're not getting in at like at other brands or in the bookstore. So I do think we really try to connect and dig into that culture of a school and really truly connect with the students and alumni.
And I feel like having a business like Hall Pass where you sell some apparel, it's such an ever-changing business. Because just like the fashion world, what people were wearing 20 years ago is going to be different. And there's some staples. There's some things that people are going to wear or whatever, when it
Right.
comes to, fashion or clothes. But things shift and things change. How do you keep up with it? Like how do you keep your finger on the pulse of what people want when it comes to the older generation? How do you keep up with all of that?
Well, with the older generation, I started partnering with different alumni chapters in different cities. So, A&T has a bunch of chapters all over the US. So just staying connected with them, doing fundraisers for the chapters, so they're able to one see what I currently have, and then just let me know what is it that pieces they may have seen back then that they haven't seen in a while that they would like to be reintroduced. And then with the current students, I'm really involved on campus with the students, whether it's the SGA, the Royal Court. or just students that are super active on campus. I always try to tap in and see who's going to be doing what next year, asking them and just pretty much asking them, what do you guys want? Ultimately, is what they want. It's not what I may think look nice. There's certain things that I may not wear, but what is it that they want? And I try to listen to that. I constantly try to ask. I constantly try to get feedback directly from the students and from the actual alumni, just so I know where, like, what I should be doing.
Right. And that's an interesting skill to have, because we all have our preferences. And even when you're owning a business, you have your preferences. And I think we have all been to the place where we thought, this is what I want to sell and this is what I like. And then when your market demands something different, you have to kind of shift and pivot based off of what they're doing or what they desire. So
No,
that's an important skill to learn, and it's ever changing.
no, it is. It really is. Like, and sometimes the answer is right there in front of us. Like, depending on what platforms people use to sell on, it'll tell you what people are searching for. Let's say you have it out of stock, it'll tell you like, oh, this is the most searched thing. And I'm looking, I'm like, okay, well, if this is the most searched thing, then maybe that's what I should be making and having in stock rather than what I may what I think should be in stock. So yeah, it's the answers are right in front of us. We just have to listen.
Right, right, absolutely, absolutely. Now you also, so I know you travel a lot. I know even now you've mentioned, being in New York and then traveling across seas, but you also have a production location in North Carolina, correct, for the business?
Yeah, so my office is located in North Carolina, even though I live in New York. And so there I have like a big showroom, and I have all of my machinery there, my equipment, my storage for different products. And that's where I have the students that I hire from campus who work there throughout the year. And I just go in and check on them like maybe twice a month and just make sure things are running smoothly, and that's about it. So yeah, North Carolina is the headquarters. Of course, I would love another store somewhere else, but that's in the future.
Right. Got it. Hey, I know it's coming. I know it's coming. I know it's coming. Just, for all our viewers, I just want to point out that Tabitha is wearing a piece from Hall Pass. She has the Aggie dog shirt.
Look,
I
I can
checked
see
that
the
out.
back of the alma mater.
Okay, let's see the back. Hey,
It got
dear
the
A&T.
yeah, dear auntie verbiage on the back.
Gotcha. That's what's up. That's what's up. I like that. I like that. Now, Hall Pass, what is your vision for it? Like, what do you want Hall Pass to be 5, 10 years from now? What do you see?
Okay, 5, 10 years from now, I would like to have the license for more schools. I I do want to be, I don't necessarily need to be in every bookstore, but I want I want to have some type of system where every student on campus just knows, like, no, this is the brand to go to, whether you're an incoming freshman, whether you're a senior. Like, I really want to have a presence on a campus without necessarily having to be in a bookstore. Um, Again, that's typically through interacting with the students and making sure they're wearing it at like the most popular events. That's my plan for at least having stuff on campus. On a larger scale, I do want to open up a D9 store here in New York because there's one known D9 store in New York, and it's in Queens, and it's owned by Asians. And so I do want to open up my own Greek apparel store here in Brooklyn, and then also offer HBCU apparel there as well. And lastly, I am going to branch out and do some PWIs. Right now, I haven't announced it, but I guess you'll hear it here first. I do have the license for Ohio State University. So I am
Okay.
in the works of getting that getting that license onto Ohio's campus, which is going to be a little bit different from the HBCU route because our stuff typically sells around like homecoming, and then depending on what designs you have, if you can, get a design that's popular for graduation, cool. But with certain PWIs, they're big on like sports. They're big on like Ohio State's big on football. Like the fans love
Right.
that stuff. That's like really branded. They wear it everywhere.
Right.
So I know I have to take a different approach with that, but I have a few tricks up my sleeve for that one. So hopefully
I
by the
hear you.
fall I'll have that, and then maybe have a license for a few other PWIs.
That's big stuff. That's what I'm talking about. Aggies do. Y'all hit it here first. Hall Pass making a global announcement that she's branching out to Ohio State first. Of course, many others to come. But you're right. That's a huge university. That's a very well-beloved university, and their football is everything to them. It's like religion to them.
Yeah.
Places like Ohio, Texas, Florida, football is like religion. So
Alabama. Yep.
that's big. Congratulations. That's big stuff.
Thank you.
Now, I have a question just for me. I'm just curious. When you were in Korea, living in Korea, see, I'm a foodie. I love to eat. Like homecoming, one of the things I look forward to the most is the smell of fried fish just
Mhm.
all
Yeah.
through the
Yeah.
atmosphere.
Mhm.
But when you were over there, what was the food like? And did you find certain spots that you love that you've frequented, or did you just try a whole bunch of stuff?
Oh no, I tried everything when I was over there. The crazy thing is, in certain restaurants, if you're not in like a like touristy area, certain restaurants in Korea won't serve you by yourself. So in the beginning, I did have a
Oh,
hard time because I was trying to figure out like, wait, why are they not serving me? For like that first maybe week, I really was thinking like, okay, maybe they're not nice people. But then my boss and them told me like, oh no, they just only serve like two. Like you have to have at least two people with you for certain
oh,
places. But once I started finding certain spots that would serve me, I ate everything. Korean barbecue, I love it. I do eat pork, I eat beef. So that's another thing. If you do go to Korea, they make pork and beef a lot. They do make chicken. Chicken actually costs more there than their pork and their beef. So
oh wow.
no, the food is they're really like big on spice. And I love spice. Like not red devil hot sauce spice. I'm talking about like tobacco. I'm talking about Scotch bonnet hot. Like I love
Mm.
spice. So they do that very well. Their fried chicken. Their fried chicken is fire. I'm not gonna hold you. They fried chicken might have some of us beat.
Listen, let me tell you something I found out. Little history fact, because Koreans, even here, I live here in DC, and there are a lot of Korean spots here, and the chicken is very popular. It's very spicy too. Most of the dishes. One thing I found out, little history fact, I want to share with everybody, that Koreans learned how to fry chicken from the soldiers that went over there when we had the Korean War. And
Mm.
our soldiers, our black male soldiers, taught them how to, fry chicken and how to finesse those recipes. And then, of course, they put their own little spin on it. But I thought that was a very interesting fact because I was like, why are they getting fried
That
chicken?
makes
But
sense. Yeah, that makes sense. And they done did it.
yeah,
They did it.
they
I
do
love
it.
their fried chicken. There's
They
some
do it.
bonchons here in the US. I feel like there's one in Greensboro for sure. But
Yeah.
bonchon, yeah, they have their food is good though.
Oh, so is Bonchon like a really big chain there?
Yeah. Bonchon, yes. It's
Okay.
yeah, for sure. Because that's the
Okay.
first place I seen it. When I went to Greensboro, I'm like, wait, Greensboro got a bonchon here?
Okay.
Oh
Okay.
yes.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Now, I'm so proud of you just as an Aggie, like to see you doing your thing, to be traveling the world, to be establishing your business, growing your business, learning as an entrepreneur. Let me ask you this, getting back to A&T, what is one thing that you would say that you learned the most in your college experience?
Um, just being able to pivot. There's certain, you may go into college with a plan. You may say, oh, my freshman year, I'm gonna do this, my sophomore year, I'm gonna do that. And things just change. And so just knowing that one no, one place may mean that you're supposed to be doing something else. Like my sophomore year, I actually tried to pledge and I didn't make it. And so that took a toll on me. And that's when I actually decided that next semester to study abroad in Costa Rica because I was just so distraught and I'm like, I don't feel like being on campus. I don't want to see nobody. So I left and went to Costa Rica, and just from that experience abroad, that first time being away out the country, like I fell in love with traveling from that. So once I got back and I had the opportunity to try again and ended up pledging Spring 11. That just knowing from that, where if I would have made it my first try, who knows if I wouldn't have probably studied abroad and I probably wouldn't have been comfortable living out the country again. So just knowing that everything happens for a reason, you may have a plan, be okay with knowing that your plan may change, be comfortable with pivoting and just trying new things.
That's huge because college will definitely teach you how to pivot because we all come in with our idea of how it's going to go, what we're going to do. Like even me, I came in as an engineering physics major and I was like, this is it. And I ended up changing my major, still in the technology field. but things just shifted. I'm glad they did, but you learn how to pivot. You learn that, okay, it may not all, it's probably not going to work out exactly the way you
Mhm.
planned it most of the time. And you learn how to adjust. You learn how to pick up and move. So we got Carolina chicken and waffles on the line. They said, hey, they may have to roll to South Korea. Hey, do that.
Do it.
Do that.
They doing
Listen,
something out there.
listen, y'all got me. I'm getting hungry now. We talking about Korean fried chicken, got Carolina chicken and waffles on the line. Listen, this is what it is. But Hall Pass, like I give you props for what Hall Pass has done and where it's going. But what do you want people to know about? Well, I'll say this. Go on and get this out the way. Where can people find Hall Pass? Tell them the easiest way to access Hall Pass.
A Hall Pass. So I'm primarily online at hallpass.shop, HALLPASS.SHOP. As I mentioned, I do have a space in North Carolina, in Greensboro, North Carolina, but it's not a brick and mortar. So you can't go there and buy on site. But I do random pop-up shops where I do sell on site, or if I have like maybe a special release and I'll sell there. But definitely primarily online. I have an Instagram, hallpass.shop as well. So definitely on social media as well.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I'm really looking forward to like, and if anybody doesn't know about A&T, like A&T, of course, is the largest HBCU in the country. A&T is the best HBCU in the country by far, in my
Hands
humble
down.
opinion. But it's an amazing experience. Like I learned so much about. Now I grew up with a family, but I learned so much about extended family with A&T. I grew up on the campus. I learned how to be a man. I learned how to be responsible. I learned how to, how to be professional. It's so much that it taught me. And so when I look back at that experience, like I think that's another thing that makes me love it so much. And now I see how it's growing, and I'm excited for you because as the university grows, it gives you a bigger opportunity to grow. It gives you a bigger opportunity for exposure and for people to really know what Hall Pass is all about. And I know you said, you're about to take over the world, open locations everywhere. So that's gonna be great. That's gonna be great. But I hope all you all heard, all the D9 people, she's about to open a location soon. Stay tuned. So listen,
Right.
you doing it. That's
I
right.
mean,
Get
I'm
all the
licensed
money.
just for Delta right now, but the plan is to get all the license and definitely have a store. That would be my dream.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. All the Deltas, listen, she's starting with y'all first, of course, naturally. But listen, it's about to blow up. I'm excited. I'm like, look, I was one of the first ones to interview her on a big platform. Yeah, I know Tabatha. So I'm excited for you, though. I'm excited for you. So Hall Pass, you all definitely have to check it out. I mean, I know Aggies will because we're always looking to
Mhm.
get merch and buy
Right.
shirts and jackets and hats or whatever. But anybody else, she's
Yes,
gonna be
I'm
serving
licensed
you
for
to
Howard.
you.
I'm licensed for Howard,
Okay.
Central, Jackson State, Hampton University, and
Oh,
in the next month or two, pretty much FAMU, Morgan State, Texas Southern, I believe. It's a few other schools that I'm gonna announce soon. I just
okay.
gotta get some stuff, let the ink dry on some stuff. But
Got it. Got
I
it.
got
That's
y'all
good
out
stuff. Hey, that's good stuff. Hey, all my DC folks understand. She just mentioned Howard, Morgan State. Hey, listen, check it out. I'm excited. I'm excited for the growth. Like I love to talk to other entrepreneurs because I love to hear their journey. I love to hear how they grew. I love to hear, how they were able to pivot and how they're now, casting dreams for bigger expansions and bigger opportunities. I tell anybody, excuse me, I tell anybody that there's something very spiritual about being an entrepreneur, from taking an idea that did not exist and manifesting that thing. Like that whole process is spiritual in itself. So
there.
I really want to give you props for being able to take an idea and manifest it and make it happen. And now look and see what it is. Sometimes as entrepreneurs, we may get discouraged because it's not where we want to be quite yet. But you got to understand, you did what most people only dream of doing, taking something out of your mind and make it like you're a creator. You took it out your mind and you made it be. So I want to just give you big ups again for that. I'm
Thank you.
excited for what Hall Pass is about to do. I listen, I'm telling y'all, there's nothing like an Aggie. Aggies do. It's something. I don't know if it's something in the water. I don't know what it is when we get when we go there. But
Except when I
you know,
can't taste it,
Aggies.
that's it.
Yeah, it's
It just happens.
Aggies do. We make it happen. We make it happen. So I thank you again for your time, Taft. I thank you for sharing your story with people. I thank you for the contribution that you're making through Hall Pass and everything else. But listen, you all have to check her out and tell them once again, tell them everywhere, every platform they can find you online, social media.
Online, hallpass.shop, or on social media, Instagram, hallpass.shop, and even on TikTok, it's hallpass LLC. And all the links in the bio. So I'm there.
Absolutely. I want to thank you again for your time. Of course, this session, Aggies Excel, is sponsored by HBCU Wall Street, Carolina Chicken and Waffles. Listen, Aggies Excel is where it is, where
Yes.
we come to show you all Aggies Excel. We excel in whatever we do. And so thank you for your time. Thank you for your contribution to the world. And
Thank you.
we will catch you all on another episode. Y'all be good.
Thank you. Bye.